Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome to my patch 9.3 mid lane SoloQ tier list. Today I'm going to be running through some of the strongest mids and talking about a couple of the changes we're going to be seeing on this patch. So starting off with my god tiers, and my pick of the patch is actually Lissandra mid again. They try to nerf her, they try to nerf my Lissandra, my Aftershock. It didn't work. They took a little bit of damage off of the E and put a little bit of a mana increase cost on the Q. Nothing changes. This champion is still the strongest pick by far in SoloQ. On 9.3. If you're looking to abuse something, it's Lissandra. You can run Aftershock. If you're feeling a little bit spicy, you can run Common, Electrocute. Very versatile champion. It's going to give you the consistent results you need to climb on 9.3. So you might notice that Cassio is still on the S tier, even after several nerfs. The problem is they keep bringing down the Cassio, but it really doesn't matter because there's not many better control mages than her. There's nobody that's really going to out DPS her, out teamfight her that's going to be rising up. So I think that Cassio is easily still a god tier pick. Also the Kassadin, if you're making sure to ban out that Talon, you're going to be having a great time scaling into a 1v9 character in the later stages of the game. Zoe creeping up into my god tier picks. I think Zoe is probably one of the best AP assassins this patch, along with the LeBlanc. These two picks are really good for AP bursts. One thing that I'm really not too sure that will impact this patch is actually the Phantom Dancer for AD carries and champions. It's going to give you a 2 to 600 damage shield when they proc below 30% health. This could be a big nerf to Zoe. I'm not really too sure if the item is going to be a must buy on AD carries. A lot of people might see the raw stats of it and go, holy shit, you have to buy this. The thing is, I think that the Static Shiv is much cheaper. They might be buying this. You're going to be getting IE. You also can't buy you can't get the Lifeline proc from the Phantom Dancer and the Maw. So if you're looking for magic resist, you can't go a Maw and a Phantom Dancer because they don't synergize. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with AD carries. So this is one to watch out for. But I definitely think that Zoe and LeBlanc are still going to be really dominant picks on this patch. Lastly, my two Lethality abusers, Talon and Jace. I haven't really seen many people picking up on this Jace hype train. Jace is really clean right now. One of the best mid and top laners on the patch by far. Has one of the best win rates as well. Almost no bad matchups. And of course, Last Whisper did see a small buff this patch as well, which helps these champions out. And mages continuously get taken down a notch, such as the Akali. The melee champions like Aurelia, Aatrox are getting nerfed down. So these picks are getting stronger and stronger as time goes on. And they're definitely going to have really good win rates on this patch. Moving across now to my A tiers, I'm going to kick off with Nocturne mid, who's actually my highest win rate mid last patch. I think Nocturne mid is very strong. I've been banning Lissandra and pretty much blind picking it with really great success. The one thing that maybe troubles me is the nerf to Essence Reaver, and of course you're not going to be buying Essence Reaver second on Nocturne. You're going to be getting Spear of Shojin, which is going to be very interesting. It's pretty much Essence Reaver with a Ruby Crystal with stats, and you're not getting mana back, but the mana really wasn't relevant to Nocturne. It was the passive on when you auto attack, you get I think 20% of your non-ultimate cooldowns back off. So when you ultimate in the side lane, you're getting your E, you're getting 2 fears, you're getting 2 Qs, and I think that Nocturne on this next patch will still be very strong. Moving across now, looking at Karthus and Malzahar, these two champions are very strong actually. They're pretty much going under the radar. Karthus is the strongest jungle in my opinion this patch and last patch. He's also a very strong mid lane and competent mid laner. So I think if you're maybe getting mid lane off roll or just looking to pick up mid lane with relative ease, pick up the Karthus or the Malzahar, you're going to have really good results very quickly. I actually think Twisted Fate also will be very strong this patch. Not quite S tier because some of the matchups don't favor him, but I think that with the return of AD carries doing a lot more hyper damage and being able to carry that later stage of the game, you may not need to be bringing that much damage in the mid lane, rather getting a little bit of map control, some CC for your AD carry to protect them. I think that these champions like the Zillion, even maybe Lulu mid may see a return to the mid lane. Of course, Orianna is going to be stronger as well. I think that these kind of protect the AD carry comps may be back with the Ardent Sensor, but we're just going to have to see how it plays out on the patch. Moving across to my B and C tier champions now. A champion you see appear that is new is Sylas. Of course, I think that Sylas in the right scenarios is pretty strong. The problem with his kit is that he's not really consistent. Depends on what ultimates the enemies have. When you're climbing SoloQ, it's all about consistency. So maybe a really good counter pick to something like the Lissandra or maybe something like the Karthus. But as of right now, the champion is not really doing that well in SoloQ. Everybody's still trying to work him out. I think that he's definitely not an S tier mid. Perhaps A tier with more testing when the final build is really set out and his matchups are. But as for right now, he's a B tier champion. He's okay, but not great. Another champion in my B tiers is Zed. I definitely think the Phantom Dancer is going to be a direct nerf to Zed. AD carries. Imagine you have a GA and a Phantom Dancer. These champions are going to be so hard to kill in the later stages of the game. This is why Zed is not so far up. You may be asking, oh, but Talon is a burst AD champion as well. The thing about Talon is his roaming style and his wave clear early is so efficient and proactive on the map to get leads. The thing with Zed is it's pretty much you're an ultimate bot. You want to move through, make one shots on the AD carries, which is not really the same thing as what a Talon actually does. Another champion moving down to my B tiers is Yasuo. I think with the crit itemization changes, Yasuo is going to come off a little bit weaker. He's not going to be rushing the Phantom Dancer anymore. It's looking like it's going to be a static Shiv into IE rush, which is going to change a lot of his earlier spikes and make him not quite as strong in the early game, in my opinion, which is where he really likes to snowball the game and take control. 3 champions I need to touch on is Aatrox, Irelia, and Akali. I think that Aatrox is in my B tiers. The champion is still playable. His playstyle is going to change a little bit because he can't store 2 E's now. You can only have 1 E maximum, but you can get the cooldown to around about a 2 second or something for your second E. So there's still going to be a way for you to get 2 E dashes in a combo. So it's going to take some time for Aatrox players to kind of work out his new playstyle, but I still think the champion's kit itself is very strong. It's still going to be pretty good on this patch. As for Irelia and Akali, I think these champions are pretty much gutted. Akali in the mid lane without sustain, she's pretty much going to be almost useless. The champion itself is still a pretty good assassin, but I think things like Fizz, things like Talon are just way better versions of this champion. And of course, the Irelia nerfs. I think Irelia's been nerfed like 4 patches in a row, something ridiculous. One of the lowest win rate champions in SoloQ right now. Same with Akali. And I think if you're looking to pick up a mid laner, I would not recommend Irelia or Akali on this patch. So that's it for my mid lane SoloQ tier list, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think this is a very accurate tier list. The only thing that could change is that if we see the crit items make AD carries extremely strong, it may turn it into an ardent meta where things like the Lulu, the Karma, the Orianna are actually really high up in the tier list. But other than that, I think you're really better off picking the God tiers, the Great tiers, S and A, and you're going to have really good win rates and success on 9.3.